guys, welcome back to my channel. So at the time of filming this, it is the end of April. I realize I haven't read any horror this month, and I'm really just in the mood to read a couple of quick, short little horror books and just end the month on that note. My friend McKay Watson sent me an arc of his new book, Be My Friend, which is supposed to be like a general horror novella. It's a mixed media book, so I'm super excited about that. It is the third best day of my life. Yeah, I'm gonna be reading that and then just mood reading some other horror, extreme horror books. So if you like horror, extreme horror, lit fic, make sure you subscribe to my channel so you don't miss any future videos. And we are just going to go ahead and get started with the vlog. And before we go ahead and get started, I just want to update you on what I'm drinking, which is Magic Mind. And I want to thank them for sending me some shots to try out in my videos. I wanted to give you a little update on how I'm doing because I am trying these for 15 days total. Right now I am on day 12 and I've been feeling great. Like, I wake up, I drink these in the morning, I have so much more energy, I don't feel jittery or anxious like I typically do with caffeine because the adaptogens help your stress level. I feel like my runs are better in the morning. I feel like I'm just so much more productive during the day. Like, it's only noon right now. I already did all my chores and stuff that I had to do for the day. Like, I don't feel myself kind of slacking like I normally do throughout the day. So I feel like these are really benefiting me and making me more focused and productive during the day, which are things that I so heavily struggle with. So I love these guys. Right now I'm drinking it mixed with oat milk. If you want to try these out, I will have a link in the description box. And thank you, Magic Mind, for sending me these to try out. Hello, so I am super excited. One of the best days of my life happened. I got an arc of McKay Watson's new book, Be My Friend. Super excited about this one. It is like a mixed media, found footage type book. Okay, so I started this last night. I'm losing my mind. I started this last night. I'm about 40% through. I think I'm exactly 40% actually. So basically in this book, we are following, the main character's name is Jacob. He's 16 years old. He goes missing, okay? And all that they know is that leading up to his disappearance, he was interacting with this mysterious figure online known as Kronos. So that's all that we know. Basically, like I said, this main character's name is Jacob, and throughout the book, you're getting interviews from his mom, Kathy, and from his older brother, Brandon. Him and Brandon are very far apart in age, and so they didn't really have a close relationship, and you find out more about that. But then also, the beginning of the book mentions a boy named Thomas, who is Brandon's son, whose pictures ended up on a fetish website. So there's something going on with this family here, but basically, this book is set up, like I said, it's mixed media, so you're getting interviews from Jacob's mom, his brother Brandon, you're getting information from the reporter, Allison, I think her name is, you're getting information from a detective, and you're reading through these chat rooms that Jacob was on and how lonely he is, and how he just felt like he didn't have any friends and he just wanted someone to be his friend, and that's how he started interacting with this Kronos. So you're reading through chat rooms, you're reading through articles, you're reading through interviews. It's really cool. I love the format of this book, and I love how, I don't want to give anything away, but Jacob really dives deep into his feelings and how he feels isolated and how he constantly feels the need to like be a people pleaser because he feels like he's so afraid of being abandoned that he feels like he needs to like morph into whatever person he's trying to befriend at the time. And it's really touching because a lot of the commentary that goes on is relatable to me, and it does kind of feel like McKay's dragging me to filth. There's just a lot that is said that I'm like, holy shit, that's exactly how I am as a person and how I feel. So I appreciate that. It is slower paced. Like I said, it's very heartfelt so far. Like I feel for this character and what he's going through, especially being 16 years old. This is exactly how I was when I was 16. And just looking back at that and reading these conversations and this dialogue and his inner feelings, I'm like, McKay might be my therapist. I don't know. Yeah, I'm super intrigued, super excited to continue reading. I need to see what is going down with this Kronos and this mystery that's going on, and I will get back to you. Okay, hi, so it's the next day. I finished Be My Friend by McKay Watson, and here are my thoughts, okay? So I really enjoyed this one. I think this is going to be something that is up to your personal taste. This is very different from McKay's previous books that he's written. It is slower paced. It isn't super batshit graphic extreme horror like his other books. It is a little more subtle. There are only like a few scenes that are graphic, and I wouldn't say that it's too over the top. I know like this is still graphic and sensitive people shouldn't read this one, but the subject matter compared to his other books, this is more tame. I would say honestly, like the action doesn't pick up until the end of the book. You're really just following, like I said, this mixed media approach of interviews, diary entries. There were tons and tons of diary entries from Jacob that we were reading, and he was really just spilling out his feelings of depression, of loneliness, of this nihilistic view of the world, of like, you know, life is meaningless, like who fucking cares? Just very dark subject matter regarding mental health. And I think this book really shows just like how vulnerable you can be with depression and when you feel lonely, and how desperate he was to like just find someone to listen to him, because his entire life, you know, he didn't have anyone to really talk to or share his feelings with. And you know, just how desperate you can be for human connection that you end up in a terrifying situation or a toxic situation or whatever the situation is, just a bad situation, because you were desperate for that like attention. Lots of different mixed media, and for me personally, the mixed media in books, I think it's really cool. And I do think that this was done well, but it does tend to kind of slow down the story and not like 100% suck me in, because it is jumping from like one thing to another. And the kind of reader that I am, I just like to sit inside of someone's head. And I think that's why like the mixed media approach doesn't always work for me. I did give this one 4 stars. I really enjoyed it. I think, you know, a lot of people are going to enjoy this one, but it's also going to be like your personal reading preference. If you want like a slower pace, more subtle extreme horror that's mixed media, you're going to really like this one. And I did really enjoy sitting inside of this character's head, because I felt like a lot of the things that he was saying, although it's like just angry, depressive rambling and ranting for, you know, a chunk of this book, I felt like it was cathartic to me. You know, like I've said before, I'm depressed, I'm angry. I really saw myself in this character at times, thinking back to how I was when I was 16 and how like I really didn't have friends either. Like I never had friends growing up. I had, you know, a small amount of close friends, but for the most part, I was a loner. I still am a loner. And I think I saw myself in this character, and I felt like some of these were like my journal entries when I was an angsty teen. So I did really appreciate this book and that commentary on vulnerability and the exploration of just the human connection. So yeah, I really enjoyed this one. Totally different from his other books. The pre-order link is up and running, so I will leave that linked in the description box down below, because I know Amazon can be like weird with extreme horror. Like sometimes it doesn't show up in the search. So I will get that link and I will put it in the description box down below. And I started reading this little book here called Drengrom by Hamlin Bird. Okay, so this is a book about this woman named Coda, I think her name is, and she discovers that there is a new drug on the market, something to do with like adrenaline, but she resorts to the dark web to find this drug. And I think this book is just like her descent into like a fever dream of madness, I think. So we'll see, but I only read the first chapter. I'm only like 10% in. It's short. It's like 115 pages, I think, but we're literally just following her like chatting in this chat room and trying to, you know, get this new drug, and we're learning about her. So I'm really intrigued to see where this goes. I don't know. I have no idea. I have no expectations going in. I know absolutely nothing. So we'll see. So far, I'm very intrigued. So yeah, I'm gonna get back to work. Haven't been feeling my best. If I look like Edward Cullen, I accidentally put glitter on my eyes this morning instead of eyeshadow. So yeah. Hello. It's the next day. So I started, oh no, let me tell you. Yesterday, I read Drengrom. Is that the name of it? I don't know why I have such a hard time figuring out the name of this book. Okay, so I finished the book. I read it in one day. It was super short. It was only 100 pages or whatever. Maybe even less than that. Here's the thing. I really liked the beginning of it. I liked the whole like dark web chat room aspect. You guys know I'm a sucker for dark web books. I don't know what it is. I love that so much, and I love like the chat room scenes and the suspense involving that. I really liked the concept of the drug itself, and like you know, he goes into more detail as to like how it was created and founded and what they do, but it spikes your adrenaline, etc. Okay, I really thought that it was a great concept, and the main character is a little bit unhinged, and I love that. For me, let me just say, for me, this is just like a personal thing. I don't think that there was anything wrong with this book, honestly. I think the writing was great. Like, there's nothing wrong with this book. It's just very plot driven, and I prefer my books to be a little more character driven. So there wasn't a ton of character development in this story. I wish we would have gotten to know our main character and the side characters a little bit more. It was kind of just like the typical extreme horror book where Michelle's crawling around and took her diaper off. Please hold. In case you're new here, Michelle is not my daughter. I mean, she is. She is my tortoise, and she has a little diaper that she wears. Anyways, yeah, so I feel like this book was super plot heavy, where the main focus was this drug and what it does to you. Like, you're following our main character and her descent into madness and craziness after taking this drug, and she's so like just empty and wants to fill her needs with whatever drug she could get. She's impulsive, like, you know, whatever. And I wish we would have kind of dove into that a little bit more. I wish we would have explored more of her like trauma and reasoning for like wanting to get her hands on some like dangerous drug from the dark web. She was very unhinged, and I wish that we would have explored that a little bit more. I almost feel like making this book a little bit longer would have done it more justice, but that's just me. And there, you know, it is extreme horror towards the end. I would say like 70% into the book we start diving into some extreme horror territory, but it was more of like the goofy kind of extreme horror that I've talked about a million times on this channel. I'm not the hugest fan of. For me personally, I just love realistic, like humans doing horrible things because they're humans and life is horrible and bleak and awful. Like that's the kind of extreme horror that I love, and just the sense of like the darker side of humanity. And that's why I wish it would have dove into the dark web aspect a little bit more and like dove into a more realistic side of extreme horror opposed to like the kind of weird, wacky, goofy direction that it took. So it is a me thing. I really don't think that there's anything like wrong with this book aside from the lack of character development. I just think it's a matter of preference. Like if you are a plot driven reader, you like kind of like goofy extreme horror, splatterpunk, you're going to like this. For me, like if you're a character driven read like me and like, she took her diaper off again. But if you're like me and you look for character development and feelings and like an emotional aspect to your extreme horror or splatterpunk, you might not like this one. So I went with 3 stars. It was okay. I went right down the middle. I do think this author is talented, and I don't think that there was like a huge issue with the writing. It was more personal preference. Then last night I started reading A Short Stay in Hell, which is just like general horror fiction. I don't know what this classifies as, but basically this is a little 100-page novella about this guy who goes to hell. He dies and goes to hell, okay? And hell is not what you expect. It's like a place where all these people go who have like different religions. So for example, our main character is Mormon. He gets sent there because he doesn't believe in like a certain type of religion. And I don't know, this hell is like, there's no like fire or Satan or anything. It's just, you go there and they give you whatever you need. It's almost like a luxury hotel. Anything that you want to eat, you just order it. It just appears. Like anything in the world that you can imagine, it's just given to you. And then they just tell you that there is a library with never-ending books. It's like an infinite number of books. Basically, you have to find the book that most closely resembles your life. And if you're wrong, you have to stay there and keep trying over and over again for like forever until you're able to find it. But this library has so many books, and a lot of them are just random numbers and letters and characters. I don't know. It's a really weird book. It's kind of like a smart person book so far. Like, I don't know. It's very philosophical, probably, I feel like. I don't know. Some people who read this probably will not think that, but for me, who is not philosophical in the slightest, I'm like, is this gonna like literally give me a philosophy lesson or something about like life in the world? I don't know. I feel like it's gonna try to give me some like life lessons or something that I'm gonna be like, okay, you know? I don't know how I feel about it. I think I'm like 30% through and I'm kind of bored. I'm not gonna lie. I know a lot of people said that they love this and that they're really touched by it, but I'm kind of like, I fell asleep last night. So we'll see where this goes. Guys, I am so annoyed right now reading this book. First of all, my head is pounding. My Nerf blocks didn't work. They lasted like 1 or 2 days and my head and my neck are just killing me and I'm getting really dizzy. So I'm already like not in the mood. And then I'm like trying to read this book and it's giving me more of a headache because it's just so boring. It's so boring. They're just searching through a fucking library looking for books. I'm sorry if my hand is really orange. It's self-tanner gone wrong. They're just going through this library looking for books and like, I don't care. I don't care. It's not vibing with me. I really don't know. I don't know what to do, but something about me is that I read for vibes and I just like want to be sad. Like I just want to read something sad for the sake of being sad. And I kind of feel like this is one of those books that's going to try to like throw a life lesson out at me or like make me pick out like the meaning or the life lesson to the book. And I just don't want to do that. Like I just want to read to be depressed. And like I don't even want a meaning or a reasoning to the book. Like I just want depressing for the sake of depressing and like that's that. That's the kind of reader that I am. I just want to be sad. I just want to be sad. Is that too much to ask for? Don't even get me started. Don't even get me started. It's a couple hours later. It's Saturday night. I'm 7 o'clock. I just finished A Short Stay in Hell. Honestly, if I'm being 100% transparent, this book is 104 pages. And I started skimming through the second half. I didn't skim like the entire second half, just like here and there I had to start skimming because I didn't give a single fuck about this book. I did not give a single fuck. Okay, here, if you're new to my channel, I just speak whatever's on my mind. I don't care. I don't care that this is some beloved book that everyone gives 5 stars because it has such great meaning and commentary and whatever. I don't care. If I don't like something, I'm not going to pretend to like it, and I didn't like this. I didn't find it interesting. I found it extremely dull, extremely boring. There was nothing that kept me interested. There was nothing that I felt like was, like it was bleak, but like not interesting. I don't know. There was nothing that was sucking me in. There was nothing that kept me engaged. I didn't feel attached to anything happening in this book. I didn't feel any emotion whatsoever. The only emotion that I felt was boredom and I wanted it to end. Listen, I have a massive headache right now that's about to turn into a migraine. I can just feel the migraine coming on and like the lights. My head is just fucked, okay? And I don't know if that played into the factor that like I just didn't care and I wanted to skim and just be done with this, but I was so irritated. First of all, their religion, like you have to believe in Zoroastrianism, I believe is the correct pronunciation, and they mention the word Zoroastrianism probably 600 times throughout a 104-page fucking book, okay? This entire time, there was so much talk about religion and God, and I'm not a religious person. I'm not very educated on different religions. I admit that I am ignorant in that aspect, but I mean, that wasn't like the point of the book, you know, and they talk a lot about how this hell is so awful because even though it seems like a great place to be, like you are quite literally just doing the same thing day after day with no point or meaning. So, you know, they have no purpose. It's just the same things over and over and over. Even if you die, you just wake up the next day. If you get hurt, you just wake up healed the next day, whatever. It's like, you have nothing to look forward to. You have no purpose. There's no, like, there's just nothing, right? And their existence is so dreadful because they have nothing to look forward to, and like everything is so predictable, right? So that's kind of like the theme, and you know, there's a lot of like commentary on life and whatever. I just didn't care. That's my final review on this book. There was something about the writing. I just couldn't get into it. It was dragging, and it was so short, but it was dragging. I just found it to just be insanely dull. I don't know. I don't care. I'm not gonna apologize. I said what I said. I feel how I feel. It did not work for me, sadly. I kind of feel like reading this book was a short stay in hell, so yeah. Hi, it's the next day, it's Sunday, it's been a long day, it's 5 o'clock, had a lot of chores to do today, had a massive migraine for a while, had to take Justin to the airport, so yeah, living, laughing, loving. My hair is disgusting, I have to go wash it. First of all, look what just came in. My paperback copy of Be My Friend just came in, and I'm so excited. I love this. It's gorgeous. John Lynch did the blurb on the cover. Shout out to John, love him. So yeah, I think I'm the first one to have a physical copy. I always get my physical copies before McKay gets his own copy of his own book, and we laugh about it, and he hates me for it, so love that. Anyways, I wanted to check in with you because I started reading the book Fluids by May Lates? Is that? I'm so bad with last names. I got 50% of the way through, and I am liking it so far. It could go either way for me in the second half. It's an unhinged woman book, which I love, and it's extreme horror, like super, super extreme horror. So we are following this woman. She is completely unhinged. Her name is Lauren. She struggles with a lot of mental health issues. You really get to see just how her mental health, like her coping with her mental health is just, she's impulsive. She's very, she like has this internal struggle with herself where she knows things are wrong, but then she does them anyways, and it's like she goes back and forth, and you really see her struggling with her mental illness. But basically in the beginning of the book, she is on some dating apps, and she's trying to find someone to kind of like fill this void that she has, and she is pansexual, so she's just like looking at everyone, right? And she comes across this woman that is super like mysterious and intriguing to her, and so she starts chatting. You get some like chat room dialogue back and forth, which I love that aspect, and it's kind of giving like Things Have Gotten Worse Since We Last Spoke by Eric LaRocca vibes. Like it's just like that chat room feel to it. And here, this woman that she ends up liking is trans, and she's kind of trying to escape her own situation and dealing, you know, with her own struggles with her identity and some family issues, and she's trying to get away from it all. So she's trying to find someone to help her get away from her shitty situation. And so you're learning about these two women, and they end up meeting, and it just gets wild from there. I'm on part 2 of the book, and things are starting to get really unhinged. I won't say anything else, but I'm really liking where this goes. I think the writing is really good. I like that we're getting some insight to the characters. Like I love character driven reads. I don't know where this is gonna go. I've seen some people say that it gets like really weird, like a fever dream, or it gets like boring. I don't know. I have no idea where this is gonna go, but I am intrigued, and I'm really looking forward to continue reading because so far I'm liking this. I love a good unhinged woman. I don't have any complaints, so we'll see. Hello! So it is the next morning. I am pleased to announce I finished the book Fluids, and I enjoyed it. So The second half of this book was kind of a wild ride. It was like a fever dream. It was almost like a Mona Awad fucking weird, messy spiral, but like not as confusing. Like it still made sense, but there were some parts that were a little bit confusing. But it was like this hazy writing where the second half especially was switching POVs and you didn't know like whose perspective you were reading from. You kind of had to figure it out, or it would reveal itself later in the chapter and then you were like, wait, what? It was very confusing, but it was meant to be that way. And I don't know, I think it was really good. There were some parts that were like, things were happening where it was very unrealistic. I'm like, okay, in real life, I don't think that would actually happen. Like you kind of have to suspend your disbelief for a few things in the book. But overall, I really like where this ended up going. It was just so fucking unhinged. Like unhinged woman to the max. Really bizarre. Really just off the fucking wall. Just weird. Weird book. Crazy book. When I say weird, like it was still realistic. Like real life kind of realistic things were happening, you know, to do with humans. Nothing like goofy or weird. It was just, I can't say anything. I don't know how to describe this book without giving anything away. It was just the writing style was weird. It'll make sense if you read the book. But anyways, I just like how this book explored mental illness and codependency and feeling empty and feeling lonely and being desperate for attention and human connection. And lately that's been like the theme of all the books that I've been reading. So I really enjoyed this one. I really like that mental health rep that was in there. It just felt like I was drunk the entire time that I read this. So yeah, I gave this book 4 stars. I enjoyed it, and I would definitely read more from this author in the future. So if you have any recs, let me know. And yeah, that's it. Let me know in the comments down below any videos you want to see in May or any recommendations that you want. I would like to film some recommendation videos. So yeah. Let me know. Make sure you check out Magic Mind in the link in the description. I love you guys, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye!